my IBC containers, where I got them from, how I decided they were okay to use for irrigation, where I get my water from, how I connect them together and run them off into my drip irrigation system, and a mistake I made along the way. Before I could do anything, I had to rent this van so I could transport the 2 IBC containers that were given to me by a friend who runs a laundry, an industrial laundry. They cleaned them out for me, but I thought I'd give them a good bleach and water spray as soon as I picked them up. You can see right on the tank that this is made with polyethylene high density, or high density polyethylene, which is a recyclable plastic and chemical resistant. But it's important to give it a good wash regardless. Now, while HDPE plastic is used in food grade containers, it doesn't necessarily mean it is food grade. Look for the food grade fork and cup symbol on your container. Some characteristics of HDPE plastic is that it has a very high strength to density ratio. It's chemical resistant and very recyclable. It does not absorb water easily, and it's resistant to rot, mildew, and corrosion, and withstands extreme temperatures of minus 50 to 80 degrees. It's BPA-free plastic that doesn't leach toxic chemicals. We don't want that. Now, more than anything really is to know the history of your IBC container. You could have a food grade container, but who knows what was in it before. Maybe it was food grade and then somebody used it for something else and then it got into your hands. So knowing the history is really key. I'm going to edit this part down because I'll save you an hour and a half of me washing these. I lost the mop inside for picking prickly pears. Wash well, rinse, wash well again, and rinse again. Do it a couple times and let dry fully. Down there, and over here. Next step was to prepare the area where I'm going to be putting my 3 IBC containers in total. Make it nice and level. Doesn't have to be perfect, but it's nice to have it a decent levelness. Concrete blocks delivered, and now I'll just move them into place. I'm going to use them to raise the IBC containers to get a little bit of height so I can get a watering can under there. And I also want a block underneath each little foot. If you see on the bottom of the IBC containers, here they have little stands or feet, and each one of those ideally should be supported for the long duration of your IBC container. No collapsing. Here we have the 2 new ones with 2 covers. This prevents sunlight from getting in, reducing algae buildup in your tank. And here they are. Now I have to get the other one in and get them connected. And I highly recommend using Teflon when you're adding your pieces. And this is a trick I learned from a plumber. Twist it up and run it through the threads, and important in a clockwise direction, or in the direction that you'll be screwing the pieces on, so it doesn't come undone. And finish it off with a flat wrap. But they say in the IBC container world, bomb-proof connections. Now I got all my connector pieces from a local store that specializes in watering systems. I just told them what I had, and they gave me all the pieces I needed. And I got the hoses. You have to cut to measure too. So continue with the Teflon. Don't be shy with the Teflon. It'll save you a lot of redoing. Nobody likes a leaky tube. Now this is the way it came off. comes in there. So okay, so I just finished. All the water tanks are connected. Here at the end I have the timer connected to the filter, connected to the tank, and I also added a little collar here and poked a hole through the hose so I can fill up the watering can instead of having to dip it into that 120 liter barrel every time. Ease and comfort and efficiency, that's what it's about in the huerto, in the garden. What happened here? Some kind of suction. Sucked the tank right down. You see that? Look at that. Let's see if I can get this open. Holy. Impossible. So I had screwed the lids on pretty tight, and I guess I didn't leave an air vent, and it just kind of there was no air venting, so it just sucked in on itself. So I had to release it by cutting a hole in there. Well, because it kind of sucked in on itself, this little tab folded in. Look what it's doing. It's stopping the turn of the cap. You can see how it's all folded in on itself. Little by little. We'll play guitar and come back, see how that's doing. That's a little better. Give it another try. Finally. Let's see if this pops itself out. So I usually have the tops here covered with this burlap sack, protected from the sun. So here they are, finished product, no leaks whatsoever. This is open, so this timer is about to come on. It'll follow down that hose, got it running underground here, and then off into the garden. Usually have this covered with a burlap sack as well, protected from the sun. The sun just eats things up. And there it is. Let's go check it out. So there it is, just getting started. Not a lot of pressure, obviously, because there's no pressure in the tanks. But if you don't have a lot of pressure, you just adjust it. How long you leave it on for. Adjust accordingly. This one happens to be watering the broccoli, which is just about ready to take into the kitchen. We got a little pak choy here. We got some spinach and cogollo lettuce, Batavia lettuce, roble, some cilantro. These are some wild green seeds I just chucked in here, and they're going strong. Watering the new little cucumber. And over here in this tray, I always leave this tray here as my witness. So if I'm not here for watering and I come back the next day and there's no water in it, it means that I'm either run out of water or the timer's not working, ran out of batteries, or there's a leak in the hose somewhere. Just lets me know if the garden's getting its water or not when I'm not around. Okay, for the moment, my neighbor is being very neighborly, and he's supplying us with water. And what we do here is we pass the hose through the old stone wall. The old stone wall hose passing trick. From their garden through the stone wall. Here's the hose, and I pass it through our stone wall and into the tank. Not the biggest amount of pressure, but patience, and you will fill that 1,000-liter tank in about half an hour. Okay, thanks for watching. So if you have any tips or questions, please let me know, and we'll see you later on. Garden on.